were born in 1913 and you worked on farms.
Little small family farm. Nearly everyone had a small family farm that time. And remember, they hadn't much good of houses. Oh, you wouldn't put dogs into them now. You wouldn't.
Well, what sort were they?
Well,
What kind of houses? How were they built?
built with stone. Some of them. The one in the yard built with stone. There was no concrete blocks that day. Oh no. There's not a word about them. And then there were mud houses. Dig dirt and tramp it and wet it and tramp it and wet it and put some heavy casing up round it and put it up the same here. You see concrete houses put up now. You ever see them put up without doing metal blocks, only fill up this. They'd have 2 rooms and a kitchen. 2 rooms and a kitchen.
So what? How big was the farm you were brought up on, and what kind of animals and
There was usually 3 cows, and the farm was something about 11 acres, 11 stacked acres.
And would there be there was cows, any other animals, and would you be what kind of stuff would you be growing? Veg would you be growing?
Growing spuds for the home, and vegetables of all kinds that they could grow. Hay for the cows for the winter, and a few fields in for them for summer, eat grass, and that was how things went on. Oh, they were poor times. They were hard times, but the people were happy.
And like, how big was your family when you brought up?
8. There was 6 boys and 2 girls, and I was 4th. And I'm the only one left now at base. I was 4th. There was James and Mary and Kathleen, this fella, and Michael and Paddy and Francie and Terence.
So there was 8 of you, and then 2 parents.
Yeah.
So 10. So where did you all sleep, or how did you?
There was, at that particular time, my grandmother had a daughter married away over someplace, not many yards altogether from our house. And there wasn't much space in that house either. And my grandmother came back with a niece to her every night to sleep in our house. And they went up to what they call the upper room. And they slept there. In the kitchen in our house, there was a settle bed. Did you ever hear tell of them?
What was that like? What's the settle bed?
It was made of wood. And you let it down, there was 2 clips on it, and you clipped it up in the morning when everyone was out of it. You let it, and then at night it was let down. And we slept in it when we were small, I mind well. There was 2 was this way, and there was 2 more with the legs. There was a loft then overhead down in the lower end, and there was a few was sleeping up there. Oh Jesus, it wasn't safe news, but both was kept well thatched. There was no such a thing but all thatched houses that time.
And how often would the thatch be changed?
Well, when it had to be. When it was given up and had to be repaired, because when the weather coming through the thatch, the thatch wasn't doing its job. You had nasty with black strings on the walls, and there was a name on them things too. So,
what, a name? What?
A name, a country name. First of all, the time no first is because them now, but had some name on them.
This was damp coming through, without damp.
Aye.
Well, so you had maybe four kids sleeping in the settle bed.
That's right.
In the kitchen.
Yes.
And in a loft, upstairs loft.
In the lower room, then my father and mother.
On their own?
On their own. The lower room now wasn't big. It wasn't. The house was dry. Every little house that time was dry. The button that was their own turf. No such thing as, I ain't never seen a bit of fire stuff being carried into our house. And they had timber and they had plenty of turf. And when we were growing up, and we used to, me and a brother of mine, used to be selling turf. You never had to sell a hand turf, did you?
No, well, tell me, what's hand turf?
Hand turf is mud. Now, did you see other turf cutter the same?
Yeah, like this way.
And throw them out, and they'll have their shape. But this was mud thrown out, and you had to make, we say a bed of it, let it be a foot deep, round about, and you tramped it with a donkey, or 2 donkeys, or 3 donkeys. It'd be something if you had a pony or 2 ponies, they were the best at the tramping. And someone tramping, have your muck was tramped and turned, it had to be turned in so that it was got a real doing. That was all the shit had to be turned, and up along, and turn it over with a man that he'd say with a shovel, and turn it, and turn around then, and it had to be made into turf then, and there was a man there shoveling out to me, and they was, God, we called that in baking turf. Baking. Baking them, you know.
So they dry out then?
They dry out then to a certain bit. And you come along then, and they might turn them, if the weather was real good, they didn't turn up. And you could put on, you could make hand turf, and when they got dry, there was that much of a space in between every 2 turf. But when you knew what they were at, there was no space in between them. You put on a heavy crop of turf, real heavy crop of turf, and you got them into puttings then, if the weather was good. And then from that into richlands, and used to wait for drying them, and then plant them.
So this is very different from using the sleighing, or the slide.
Oh, it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very different.
And why was that? Was it very poor, very wet, poor turf?
Oh, they were grand turf when they dry, but when they were taken out, when they were being made first, so they were part one only mud.
Okay.
Mud. On this side of that, away down, was a place called Lissa Hall. And there's an old school there yet. And the master was there, and there was no division in between, and the mistress then had the young ones away down and the other part of it. And I seen in my time 86 on the roll book. 86. If it was open tomorrow morning and a good school put up in it, there wouldn't be one to go into it. Not one. And I seen 86 on the roll book.
What age were you when you left school?
Oh, I suppose I'd be maybe 14 or 15.
14. So you're talking about maybe 1927 or something like that?
About that.
Okay.
About that.
Well, did you enjoy schooling? What did it
Oh, so well, eh?
What was it like?
I did. Because I could get home with things that was you were doing. If you can't, there was ones there going to school around me, and they never understand anything. You know what I'm talking about? Understand nothing. So they were blacks, and they didn't understand nothing. But then there was other ones then, very brilliant, bright. I'm not saying I was one of them, but I wasn't too bad.
Did anyone ever go to school after 14 or 15?
I did, of course, and I tell you, still the big men going. because they were going on for some job. And I seen girls there, and they were doing a bit of teaching on the young ones. Wasn't paid from the government or anything, but they were there preparing for their own job to get. And they did. Some of them got assistant, what they call assistant teachers and things like that. And then I'll tell you furthermore, I might forget, 1886 on the road book in the Secaucus school. There was not a bit of a toilet about it. No toilet at all.
Did you have heating in the school? Or?
Heating, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But then said a new turf. And they often tell them, brought last load of turf. That was mostly every family would bring a last load of turf. And no, that kept a good fire going to the school. In them times when there was people. And there was a storehouse outside for the turf. And part of that storehouse was for the teacher's animal. I seen him coming there with his pony and trap. From this town of Drumheaton he was living in, with his pony and trap. And he went down there, do you know where Kilmore is?
Yeah.
There was an old school, a school there in Kilmore. And his wife was teaching there in Kilmore. She was principal in Kilmore. And he turned around, when he left her there, he came back and up Johnny Gallagher, and he lifted an old woman there, she was getting all that in, that was teaching the infants. She was Mrs. Sweeney. And up then to the Secaucus with his pony and trap. Took out, pony out with the trap above it, and we would look at that. And someone then get him with the pony down into this stable, we called it. And then the next, it went on then, and he got a car, one of the first cars we ever I seen, IT 401. He had that for a lifetime, and when he got another one, and the next one was IT 779. He was Master Kelly.
When you left school, what did you work at then?
Worked with everyone, but I got there in the Bobwood. In the springtime, you get a bit of work. Some people setting spuds. And there was one man and his wife, they had no family. And his wife was, he used to furnish the food in it and well looked after. And he used to have a big purse. And it was all 2 shilling bits in it. And that was the pay you get for a day, 2 shillings. The work was nice work, nice enough work. They setting spuds. You knew what they were at, it was one. Everyone was doing that time.
Yeah.
With a Lloyd, well, I didn't know if anyone had a plough around that time. No. It was all done by hand with the Lloyd. It did come on further than that, the plough and that. But now we say in our place, our nanny place round about, she had a horse to leach out altogether. To take all the bit of ground they had altogether. It was a wooden shaft, and a nairn then, they called them a nairn. I wish to God they were above we left. I left one of them above that never was a hair done with. Never. Led by a man out in Rigna, he was famous at them, and that's how I got it. He was taming. That's lying above around some of those houses yet. We came down here from Tarman.
And what other work? I mean, you worked in the mines as well, I believe.
I did. I worked in the mine sometime around the 30s. And his sister came home from America, and of course she had a pound or two. It wasn't wealthy in America either, but she bought a new bike. And she was on holidays. She came home, first this was in Dublin that time, the Eucharistic in 32.
Eucharistic campus.
Right, and so when she went back into America after the holidays, I was on with the bike. And I went up, and I got lodging above in town, and I knew going down to and working then out in the mines. And it was candles that time. Candles. That when you went into the mine, there was a candle you had for. And the first pay that I got then for that time it was fortnightly pays and fortnightly make up of things like that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There was Saturday was a working day, the same as Friday and all that. But the first the first time I was into it anyway, we went out to work every morning, and there was 4 days we couldn't go into the mine, or we did go in bad air. And the cattle won't live in bad air. It'll go out, dry up and go out. It's time you were outside then, in the air. Anyways, we got 8 days out of the 12. 8 days. We went out for work every morning, but all we got was when we come home 4 days. And my first pay that time for the 8 days was 9 and 9 pence.
9 shillings and 9 pence.
9 shillings and 9 pence.
Was all that work in the mines, was that paid according to the work you did?
That's right.
For the weight of coal, was it? Or the amount?
Well, and outside, there was men, and outside, there wasn't wages, wasn't big either. And they were taking out this stuff and dumping it outside, you see, and dumping it. But they were on what they call a permanent pay. They knew what they were going to make for the day, but we didn't.
Well, so were you well paid, or I know you said sometimes there's no pay, but were you well paid?
You were. And if you ever went down in the book that you had to get, you got it. We called them firemen, those overs, firemen. There'd be 1 or 2 of them, firemen were called. And someone had to be there that had the responsibility of the men and see what they had to do and where they had to work and how they had to work. And they were, and he went down for you, you got it.
You could have maybe good days, very good days.
Very good days.
Very bad days.
Not in the early days I went through, but sometimes I had good days. Now I might tell you this one, I might one thing, and you used to go in there at night when we'd be quitting, we used to work for a long time from 4 in the evening to 12 at night. And not tied now to the last minute or anything like that. And so there was men going in then to cut the run. That was to cut the coal for the men the next day. Day shift men. And so there came word out when that there was something wrong in some place on the run we call it. And the fireman was there, and they rigged them in themselves. They would not go back at all. What it was. They're 8 hours, no more. But I was after doing a good bit of overtime, and the fireman looked round about to see we're all in the shed waiting for the lorry to come pick it up. And he said to me, "John, you'll have to go back." "No, I will not," said Tom. "No, I will not." "Ah, don't go back," he said. "No, and don't come out tomorrow. Don't come out tomorrow." That was like I get the shift for following week. So, and I went back. When I went in, and it was been what I had to go to, and you would I met this man that was there doing the cutting the run because, and like, where is this fall? There's a fall of slates. There's only a few of it. I have them shifted, so I had nothing to do. And I turned back out again and the lorry didn't come for the men. I knew it. No, I hadn't my candidate writing because they see me coming out. And I waited till the lorry came and they moved off. And then I made them leave for home, basically. But I was out the next year and got a full shift for going back that night and had nothing to do. Now, there was plenty of things like that. There was.
But what did you actually do in there? Did you have a pick or what kind of?
On the well, never was much of the pick. No, I didn't. I wasn't as good as a lot of them I was going to it. And what were up, but I was in it. We were all in one evening, and in for the 4 o'clock to 8, 4 in the evening till 12 at night, and it was terrible weather. And one side of where we were working, there was a big river, and but that river was going its own way and doing its own job. But that if it ever busted, went to a mine, there was one side of it. Now, there'd be a lot of deaths, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
And anyways, this evening, anyways, it was a certain time of the year, and it was enough weather, days after days, and this day was turning into the world, nothing but pour or rain. So the headman in Gladen, he came when the 4 o'clock shift was going in, or into work, go then. So he said, there'll be no work for anyone here the night. Be someone lost here this night. And no one here, he says, look after the night. So this man, the whole head man that day on the day's work, he said, there is one man here in Watson. And who was he? So he pointed to me. That man is in Watson. So this man turned around to me, and would you? I wouldn't. No work, no, he said, no work, only watch. And so the all came out safe out of it, and from that on then, I used to be from 12 at night till 8 in the morning. No one there but myself. Plenty of fire stuff. And could have a snooze like that, and if the lights blinked, I was on my feet. And knock off all the pumps. They didn't go like the light, they didn't trip. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
They didn't blink off themselves. They were still on, but when the current could come back, you see it as well as I did, the current off and went out and come back in 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Come back. And it would burn out every pump that was there. And what I do then is if the lights blink off, get to my feet and down to the things doesn't happen in a minute, and knock off all the pumps. Switch them off. And when the current was back then, go on and switch them back again. And put them into action again. I like that job.
And did you stay with the mines, or did you leave? Did you go on to other work, or did you stay with the Original Mines for the rest of your life?
As they went on, they get something from the government and week by week. But that was the last job I had with the Original Mines. You
left the family home when you got married, was it, or were you away from?
Well, the two was some way down that country, and I went back to a little place up in Tarman.
Right, Tarman.
Got married then. We had a roof over our head.
Right. Well, so that would have been the late 40s, early 50s.
That was in the 50s.
You got a place in Tarman.
Aye. Did you ever hear tell of a land league house?
Land League House?
Yeah.
I think so, like a temporary sort of wooden.
No. Land league. No, England owned a lot of this country at the time, didn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And you didn't pay your rent or whatever you had to pay for them, and you were evicted.
Yeah.
If you had nowhere to go, then now a roof over we at night, the neighbours came, and like some places in they might have got a road of ground or some got a half road or a quarter road, and the neighbour, and built up some of them a little thing that you be covered at night anyway, that you could go in and sleep in. And so this one they lived up the road further, and they had this bit of land down that I bought, and they were evicted out of where they were because it wasn't able so much to pay for their rent was given. And the neighbour put up this land lake house for them, and that's where we were living.
In Termon?
In Termon.
So you bought a land league house?
That's right.
Which was stone built? And
Stone built.
Same as every other.
There was, there was a room and a kitchen built for them. Then the ones who was in it then came on after and put another room to it. And it was thatched. Almost on the side of the road, I could say. And it was nice and dry and
convenient.
And convenient. The both chapel and school.
Did you have much land with it?
There was something around 10 acres.
Oh, big, yeah. So did you have a farm then as well? Or did you...
Yeah, before we left away down. And had to get.
And this was with yourself and Tessie, this were you?
Yeah.
You were in. Okay, so and you were working in a Rigna?
Yes.
And had a farm.
And you should come to it every day, really. And that was a good many miles. To a time then I had a van. And after, when the van went to £11 for insurance, £11. When it went to 11, it was around 10 or something. When it went to 11, I chucked it and got my tractor. And to insure my tractor that time was 5 shillings for the year.
You grow up with your own potatoes, milk, or cows, pigs?
No, we had above, we'd have a cow who were living above, but no, all young cattle, and maybe a cow, suckling calf, down, way down. And when this woman had another land up here, that was kept going too.
What kind of pastimes would you have? Would you go to dances, or would you go to pubs, or would you go to...
I usually go to the pub here in the town, not every night, but occasionally. And
he used to play cards, of course. But the bit
at home, or...
no, indeed, but in the pub.
What was Drumkieran like as a town then?
I'll tell you what there is now. There's four. Well, when I minded it was one after closing because of the Ronnies, the were Buchanan's. That was closed, we did that one away. Here the yard then there was one McMorrow's, that was one. There was Boyens was 2. There was Dennis McHughes was 3. There was Mrs. Rokes was 4. Davis was 5. Paddy Kelly's was 6. Francie Robbins was 7. Dennis's was 8. Patrick Jones was 9. Pat Kilooly's was 10. And this Cozy here beyond was 11. The mall, every one of them opened their doors every morning at one time. There's 4 now.
So they're very popular, you see.
Well, who kept them going? It was the Reading Minemen that kept them going. And they did not come down every night. They didn't come every night, but they came at time. And the Reading...
It was a dance. You are sure.
The Reading men that was working hard in the Reading mines, they was working hard. There wasn't a tint of blood in the creatures' bodies. They were as white in the skin, as white as that paper that's there. And they wanted something to keep them in health. That's it. To replace that blood that was gone out of them. See in the Reading man that was working in the mine, you pick him out no matter where you see him, out the crowd.
So would there have been many places to dance around Drumkieran?
No.
There was 2 dance halls in Drumkieran. There was one there below, you know where the post office is there, it's around there. And Paddy Kelly's, it's Wins now. You know where the lower side of the road, the dance hall is there, yes. Oh, they said those dance. There was people back then, but there's no people now. There's even cars, driving cars. There was about 3 cars in this town back then. About 3.
And your tractor. Would there have been a lot of shops in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the country?
There would. And there was.
There's a shop after shop after shop. Small shops. Now from here,
Town, and there was.
Like why were shops so important? Why was there so many shops?
So many people.
the people,
And there
wasn't the country packed with people. Packed with people. Shouldn't have to have shops there. And from where we were living out there a bit on the Lissacahan School way. And here, if you go down here, there's Degnas, you know, which is that shop, Degnas.
Yeah.
Well, it was Patrick Jordan was that thing. Do you think there was any such thing as money being paid across the council when you came in and got what you that's flour and meal and things? No, no. When there was something sold, there was something taken off the book. The rest left like, and that went on, but it was a decent way of doing things. Like there was no treachery in the when the day was over. It was.
So when there was something sold, like
A cattle, pig, two.
two Dolan, no?
No, well,
But if you sold the cow in the mart,
in the
There was no mat. It was all fair. No mat.
Oh, fair,
If you sold the cow and you had a shub home. But the more thing was being sold that in was there was a pair of
pigs.
young pigs bought. Suckers they called them, suckers. Bought. And they were fed on. And they were fattened. And they were behind the below, there was a market there below them. And Patrick Dolan that had the shop here, and he was there going out the road, and they were the ones that bought. The pork was killed the day before, the pigs were killed the day before, and they were cleaned up and hung up, and it was in the kitchen of the houses, as smart as it was. That's what they were hung to. And but into the market the next day, sold Patrick Dolan and Willie Erwin. They was the ones who was buying. And they were chartered down to the Maher station and on to Northern Ireland and across to England.
so Patrick Dolan would buy the pig or the bacon or the pork and take that off your bill. Would it be?
No.
Well, if you asked him to, or if you asked him to, he would.
No.
That'd be known between the seller and the buyer. Oh, yes.
You had six brothers or 2 sisters. Do you? And you said the country was kind of packed with people in the 30s and 40s.
So it was.
Well, can you tell me something about emigration from this area? Your own family, did any of them emigrate?
Sure. The first was a boy, James. He emigrated. I didn't see much at all of him. I was very young now when he went away to America. Then we had Mary. She went to America. And Kathleen. And she went to America. Made their homes in.
What happened, say, the night before they left, or would you have a bit of a party?
A bit of a party. What they call them dances. Farewell dance. And the people that were great workers, and they raised a lot of food on their own land. And there was hunger in no house. Oh Lord God, the women that and the baked cakes, the bread that do you good to eat them. There's some changes in that direction.
Did someone take over your father's farm, or will the youngest take it over? Or?
It's in the family, all the thing. It's in the family.
So it's still there?
Yes. Yeah. And then, as I told you, the country was packed with people. It's not now, and there's some, if you were going off, if I could, I'd bought it, or some other neighbour. And made their own farm bigger. And it mightn't be exactly beside them, it could be half a mile away something, but it was a big addition.
I'm just curious about, would people come to help when you were harvesting?
At the gathering of the harvest.
Could you talk about that?
We came in the month of September. There were out so many men, to be with you today, with me tomorrow, building the reef. And the woman in the house done the cooking. Oh, that went on all the time. There was one old fella anyway, and he hadn't his reef done, but it was coming up to the time like he was out with people all the time, and someone said, Dan, when do you? Well, whoever is on or whoever isn't on, I'll be on tomorrow.
They would go onto your farm and help, and then you would go on to move on to other people.
That's right.
Spent 1 day, 2 days?
One day.
1 day.
1 day. 1 day. And the woman that was in the house preparing for the men, she was the hardest worker. She was.
I think we said we said earlier there was 11 pubs in
Yeah, yeah.
But were there places like maybe restaurants for people to eat, blacksmiths,
The what?
hotels?
The what?
The one clashless hotel where there were eating houses. There was a fair every month in Dunhill.
Right.
And all these women prepared and got what the menu or what they ordered, and that was tea and well, there was no sandwich, tea and bread and butter. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 4 or 5. It didn't.
Eating houses. Eating houses. But on the bottom there was missions. I mind when that house was up, mission. And these missions, there was 2, Bettins was 3, and the man up the town then, because the corner was 4, and the hotel was 5.
The hotel, where was that? Was that across from the
Across over from here, up on the side of the hill there.
You can, I think.
Aye, you can.
That's their names.
of the hotel?
Aye.
Right. So when you say eating houses, they were nearly just ordinary homes, but
Well,
for a fair day.
you
Aye.
got what you wanted and paid for it. And papers. Yeah. Aye.
So you must have brought cattle or whatever to the fair.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, picture it.
Would you be selling or buying or both?
Selling and buying, doing all treachery that you could do to make money. And go to fair away from here and walk, buy cattle and walk them. There's a place way over beyond Sligo, and mine wanted, I went to it, and I bought 2 heifers. I had a bad owl bite at the time, and these fellas, it was mostly a horse fair, and but I was after no horse, and these ones from this native place, Clively around there nowhere, and some of them passed me out. I said, John, you're after a horse. I said nothing, but I bought 2 heifers in it, and the fellow said to me, you were after a horse, and well, he was supposed to be a big buck. I thought himself he was any, but I asked him something. I knew he bought his old bullocks in it, and he would he be walking them home? Oh no, he said, yeah, laddie, and then there's no laddie, I'm not able to. I walked them, and so after a while, what he was telling me was lies. You see, he could had no notion to laddie, but he wanted the company with him then home, and we were home and together. Someplace outside where the fair was, and he was. Some of his cats went into a field, and there was some man that followed him out to buy the bulk that he wanted, and followed him out the road. But when the cats went into the field anyway, he said to me, will you go in there, he says, and turned them out. Mine wasn't. My 2 heifers that I bought was on the road. Now today, if you, in front of that man, if you think I'm a servant boy, I'm not. Go in yourself and take out the cattle. And so He had to. That was the kind of a trickster he was, but we came on into Ballintoher, believe me, some walk and some miles from here, and they actually, he went to the sister eating house. No, I won't. And I went in. So I went in and I got up to him, my bad boy after, and went on to the place called Bad in the Gar. Oh Jesus, miles and miles away from here. And brought me 2 animals home, and it was the 10th of November, and the next day was the 11th of November, the fair day of Drumhaven. And they brought me 2 little animals into the fair and sold them to a man from the town that I was after, buying the day before. He thought when he came on these out of a good place, out of a bad place, that they basically be making the 2 great ones. And they weren't making the 2 great ones. He had them back for them poor cattle suffered, didn't they?
Did you make money on it?
Me, I got a pound apiece off them, I think. Oh, that was a first in that.
I'm just thinking about the role of religion.
Very important.
Things like funerals, wakes. Can you tell me about? I know it's traditional for maybe the low people in the area to, help with washing of the body and laying out.
There were some people that said that laying them out. That was washing them, and a man had to be shaved. And
then there was what you used to put on
the habit.
Habit is right. And that would be left.
So if someone died at home, would they be laid out?
At home.
That's the thing that they were.
At home.
There was no hospital much.
No, there was no bringing to the chapel even before. They were brought from the home to the burial ground.
Right. Would there be a funeral mass?
No, there would. A
There would, funeral mass. But the corpse would be at home in their own bed.
Right, and then from there to the church,
Yes.
mass to the graveyard then beside.
No church, I tell you.
No church?
No, I mind there was no church. From the house to the graveyard.
And a mass at the graveyard?
No, a mass in the church that morning.
Body wouldn't be
For the,
Oh, right, okay. The body would not be there.
no.
And how long would the body be at home for? Would it be?
Oh, the certain time was it one night,
late.
and maybe this wasn't the second night, I think it was.
I don't know.
I think it was now. And the burial time of the country that was 3 o'clock in the day. Now that was,
Burial time.
mass was in the morning, but because everyone now was walking back, I don't think, and you went into the room here, and we would anyway, into the room here, and because every time mass was there, there'd be 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and come back to the home where the dead was again, and they'd be taken out on their shoulder, and in a lot of cases carried to the grave if it was a mile or a mile and a half or 2 miles on the shoulder. I've seen the 2 horses and the hearse bringing the
remains.
remains.
Yeah.
Not so far from here, I've seen the road skewers.
I think, as I said, religion was very important. Would there have been this notion of, because you say people didn't go to hospital?
No, there was no.
No.
Water.
It's into hospital unless it was a neck, it's better not to be.
In this country at a time, in the 30s and 40s, it was raised to TB. TB, a lot of that came from poverty. In 1944, I was in Mannerhampton Hospital with TB. And was a man then before that, years before, I used to work, they set up in Rigna. And he was a very handy man. And he was one night and he was put out of bed. This one was coming along, whoever they were, and their horse lost the shoe. And he was getting lame. And he was to inquire someplace. And this man was, and I'm talking about him, he was Gilbert Wynne. He lived at that country there. And they put him off his bed. and he put a shoe on the horse for them and put them on the road. They had no money, and they gave him a book. Now that's what I heard, and I heard it long, long, long ago. They gave him a book, and there was a lot of in the book. It seemed a lot of things for curing people. But were they from this world or from some other one? That never was known, apparently. Never was known. But anyway, when I was in Allenham in 1944 with TV, and I went up to him and told him what it was. And the John, good but John Fiver didn't do enough. He told me with mustard. He didn't do it for me, but I had to do it myself. I was in 44. Now I had a brother died with TB. And I had another one that had TB. It left him a delicate man all his life.
You got this cure with mustard?
Mustard, a plaster of mustard. He said to me, they done so much for me in Allenham Hospital, but didn't do enough. He told me what I was on this. Make up your plaster of mustard. They were down there and gave you a bit of lie on it. And he was lucky enough that I didn't, I near fell asleep on it by the day was finished. I'd be long, long gone away. But
so many minutes, wasn't it, that you'd be left on
but I was left to play my will. So it seems that was lifting off the bed that was there. But that if I had to fall asleep, maybe sound sleep, I found myself wronged. The lungs would be wronged when I'd wake.
You got so
I think more than what my head said, but that happened anyway.
if that doesn't, you know, you were just chained to that, take off the plaster and come what may, and generally it worked.
And was there any prayer or anything associated?
No.
It's just
No.
Prayer, is that you said?
Yeah.
No. 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 Wasn't. But in this country at the time I'm talking about, where there was young families bringing up, now that's the same for you, what you haven't, but the rosary was said every night. Margaret put down, promised how the chair wasn't, I don't think it was a good chair in any house, it wasn't an hour anyway. And in our house, there wasn't a clock within an hour. Whatever was that? Oh, not a timepiece of any shape. There wouldn't be the sun. There was times there couldn't go by the sun. It was black day, but there was no such a thing as a clock in our house.
How did you know when to go to work or school, or you just, it was light, that was it?
Well, there were gifted things now. Well, gifted. No, it was not a clock. And that's hard to believe, but it's true.
The emergency, or the Second World War, the emergency here, how did that affect life in Drumkeeran?
Now, when our time then, we were bringing up, there was no such a thing, out of our house anyway, if anyone went near a butcher shop. Oh Lord, no. They had fowl, plenty of fowl, plenty of eggs, and the fowl, of course, was better than any butcher shop. And but that's all was used. There was no such a thing. I never seen one going from our house to a butcher shop.
And you will have bacon, your own bacon?
When it came to that the people were getting a bit better off. When it came to that, you fed your own pig. Now, I mind in our house, they see 3 sows in it. They were producing pigs. And but it was on after that finish, you wanted the pig, you had no sows or anything like that, and if you had, you go to the market. That'd be 27th of May or 24th of June, and you bought a little sucker down there in Drumkeeran with a man there with the man a cart, and had this, what they call a letter of suckers, by one, and feed them on then. And around November or early December, before that, the woman in the house, when she was feeding the pig, she put in a fish or two of flour, and along with other good things. And when then the last month, now they got all good. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. Was a butcher then, some neighbour, butcher, he'd kill your pig for you and come the next day and salt it, or the next night and salt it. And it was wonderful. Oh no.
The nicest of bacon.
Nicest of bacon. Nicest of bacon.
Can I ask, how did you two meet then? You're from Drumkeary yourself?
No, I'm from, well, I suppose Creevilly or
Right.
that parish.
Right. Did you meet at a dance or?
No, she was around milking a cow, and her cow was back in my land. We were making at the time. That was the first time ever we met.
Right.
You don't mind a bit of that either.
No,
No.
not.
But I mind it.
At that time, you got married in the 1940s?
52 we were now.
52.
That was a long time.
Right.
You can call it courtship or anything you like, but it was a long spell.
Did you have to ask permission to
Eh?
Did you ask permission to marry from?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, he had to.
Did people have dowries in those days? Would you have to have a certain amount?
The money,
Money?
no.
No.
It might happen and it might.
It might happen in some cases, but between us, there was no point because we understand if you had the home to winter. That's and
And you had the home in Tarman.
and I put that I had down the place, but there was no house on it. Only what I call a pigsty. Not a good pigsty either.
Was that the Land League house, no?
Well,
Where was the Land League house?
That house that we
in Tarman.
live all the time, or a big up the wheel.
Right.
And it's about there yet, and the beds are made.
So we might stay.
The beds are made in it, and every year still recording. It's slated now in here, additions put to it, and bathroom, you know, and all these things, and back kitchen and things like that. No himself what it's like now, but we don't go up near, but a beautiful little spot on the side of the road. You could stand on the side of the road and talk in town at the door. But I seen in my time, and a man he was buried. And there was no one in the house but himself. It was a big house. And the house was after being closed up. And went away from the house and closed the gates leading onto the house. I had to go down an avenue. This is now the truth, isn't it? Or lies. And came down an avenue. We went back right to the main road, but we went on to switch our place. And we were gone a few yards, and someone said, "Which lad?" That's what the word was said. "Which lad?" And the funeral, about 14 men with black hats on, came in the avenue. I said the gate was after being closed, but they weren't closed on then. They walked straight through. And then through and went to the house, that they walked straight through. So there's no lie in that. But name's John McMorrow, I never asked questions when I should have asked them afterwards. was one old man. In the bunch of us that was in it, was only one man said, "Come on away home, lads. Come on away home, lads." And every one of them was tall, and every one of them was wearing a black hat. And they were talking, but no more than ducks, you wouldn't know one hit they were talking about. But they walked straight through the gate that was after being through. Now there wasn't broken down gates, they were good wooden gates.
So what do you think they were? Who were they?
And they weren't from this world anyway. They weren't. They weren't from this world anyway. Oh no. The man that was asked to be buried that day, whatever time he was buried, but this was being done anyway, but he took his own life. He hung himself. And that's the house that these were going to. That is true now. That's no lie calling the one on that. No, 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 no. I don't be on for them came alive. But he was asked to be buried. And what he stood on when he put up his rope, or whatever he did, and he had it down and he had it around his neck. And what he stood on then, a poor pot. They used to call them piss pots.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when he kicked away. It wasn't a big weight of a thing to kick away.
But tell these people about the dog. You had a dog.
He had a dog, and he was a cross old dog. And there was people living beyond, where there was a father and mother, and young family coming up in the world. And when they'd be coming at night, they had to pass over to this man's house. And the dog back. And the father and mother, the children behind their house. And it was the most of a half mile, but to hear the dog house. And the Weldon were coming home, you see. And they'd say, "What kept you out last night? What kept you out last night?" And these couldn't bear, the young ones couldn't bear the dog. But when the man was gone anyway, the dog was then in the shed this day, and in the corner of the shed when the man done away with himself. And this fella, he was raw, and he took up a stone, and he hit the dog, and did surely even. And the dog got out yelping, might as well as can be seen. And I laughed down a certain lane, and he went up through the fields, and went up to the graveyard. The College there was out, and he never left me dead above on the top of the grave. He lay on the top of the grave and died on it.
Yeah.
And now Allah, he is there without you passing down and you go to that road. You know a graveyard out the man on the road there today, up on the field.
They're on the road to Killavoggy.
That's right. That's right. Down near hand, the main Drumheran Road. Isn't that right? Oh, Allah.